Hey guys, do you know what's the first principle of success? It's taking responsibility. Taking responsibility comes first before you really cannot do any change. You cannot change your life before you start taking responsibility of your life, right? And a lot of people talk about responsibility and saying you need to be responsible. But what responsibility actually is, and how do you actually take responsibility, and how do you capture yourself from irresponsible behaviors, that's the question. There's not many people who talk about that, so this video is all about this. And before we get into that, I would like to ask you guys to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. Alright, now, what is responsibility? A lot of people talk about responsibility, but they don't really say what it exactly is. And in one sentence, it's basically your power. You are owning your ability and power to create, choose, and attract the life you want. And it's a tool for self-leadership, for leading yourself wherever you want to go, right? You know, your life is your movie. Either you're designing it or you're just part of it. Which one you will choose? If you take responsibility, then you can start designing your life, your movie, right? And so most success experts, since Socrates actually said that taking 100% personal responsibility is the first principle of success. And after watching this video, you will understand how and why. And it's easy to take responsibility when everything is great, your life is going well. But when you have to take responsibility is actually when you feel down, you feel angry, disappointed. You know, when you feel these negative emotions, this is where you actually have to start taking responsibility. And this is the most difficult time because you are in emotions, right? And so Christopher Avery has designed this responsibility process, which starts when you have a problem. You know, believe me guys, things go wrong, life happens, you know. Now, how you react to it, this is what actually matters, right? And so it's funny that we have these stages we need to go through before we get into the responsibility. And it's funny also that they always work in same order. Almost always. So after you have a problem, you are angry or down, you have to go through 6 stages of irresponsible behaviors. And when you go through them, you are owning your power to choose, attract, and to change the situation. So the first stage of irresponsibility is laying blame. And the funny part is that when something goes wrong, then this is the first stage everybody has. Whose fault this is? And that's the first thought we have every time something goes wrong. We get stuck in laying blame for a second or a minute or an hour or a day or a year or a lifetime. Or we can get off this since it's just a mental state. As long as you are stuck there as your answer for the problem, then you will keep the problem because you're dealing only with an anxiety and not with the real problem. You are just blaming, right? And it's a powerless state of mind. So whenever you catch yourself blaming someone, remember, your intention actually not to solve anything. You just want a problem. You are creating this suffering for yourself. So what happens if you can't find someone to blame? We start justifying. And this is the second phase. And if you get off the mental state of lay blame, then you graduate to justify. Instead of a person, the target of your blame is set of circumstances. For example, oh, it's the weather, it's the economy, organizational culture, government, whatever, tools or processes, whatever in the companies, right? Or when you're late, oh, it's because of traffic, right? And basically, it's again, powerless state where something outside of you has to change before you can act and become powerful. So, and if we get off the mental state of justify, then we land on shame. And shame is the third state of mind you have to get rid of in order to get closer to responsibility. And shame is just laying blame on yourself. It's beating yourself up for having a problem or believing that you're not good enough. And in shame, our assumption is that we lack something and we are actually deserve to have this problem for trying to do something that we aren't able to do or trying to go beyond ourselves. We are just not good enough. Oh, I'm such a dummy. I'm such an idiot. Oh my God. Yeah. Like, you know, and then you're sitting there, right? Blaming yourself, putting shame on you. Like, and you feel this bad energy flowing through your body, and you're thinking, you're such an idiot, right? And it's not really a place for true resourcefulness or freedom. And it really feels bad. It's basically like putting poison into yourself, right? And you can't really act from it because you just feel down. Now, find yourself when you're putting shame on yourself. We all like to do that occasionally. Just the way I deal with this is just, okay, this is what I did wrong. All right, so what did I learn from this? How can I do better next time? And that's it. Don't dwell on how you're such an idiot. It doesn't give you any value. Right? It literally doesn't give you any value. Learn from it. Tell yourself the hard words, what you did wrong. Tell yourself what you should do next time differently. Write them down if possible. It's even powerful if you write them down. And then move on. When we get rid of shame, we land on obligations. Obligation is a mindset where it's like a state of mind, actually. It's you feel you have no choice. People all the time say, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to. And the premise here is that you have to do or you have to be what you don't want to be. And it feels like a burden, what you don't want, and you think you have no choice. I just met one girl last weekend, and she said, I'm so miserable because of my boyfriend. And so I asked, like, why are you with him then? Because I have to, I have no choice. Well, that's act from obligation, right? A lot of people say that, oh, I'm working in this place and I really don't like to work in here, but no, I just have to because I have to take care of my family. And then just keep going there, keep being miserable, right? So don't act from the obligation state of mind because it's powerless. And responsibility is having power to create, choose, and attract, right? And that's why we want to get rid of these mental states. So after shame and obligation, if these two feel so heavy, we quit things sometimes, right? And in quit, it's just other side of the arrow, because quit is an escape valve from an exit from extra pain of shame and burden of obligation. If you understand those, that you're putting shame on yourself, and you need to go to a place to work somewhere which you hate, and then you suck, you think you suck, and then I'm gonna quit, right? And then is it responsible? No. If you think about it, then lay blame and justify in those two red ones. These things are external, right? Which means that we are blowing off steam, while shame and obligation, we are actually building it up internally. It's even worse, because now we're poisoning ourselves, right? If you don't know how to learn and grow by taking ownership, then we need to escape from it, and that's quit. It's quitting, right? And again, it's so easy to quit, but success comes with consistency, right? If you all the time quit, when everything comes along, as soon as it gets hard, as soon as you make a mistake, as soon as you feel, I have to, you quit, then how far can you get? Your whole life will be like that, right? It's like a vicious circle now, right? and you want to get rid of that. So remember, before you quit things, ask yourself, was there anything I could actually have done? Talk to someone, tell someone my problems, like get rid of shame, putting shame, blame on myself, like acting from obligation. Instead of saying I have to, always say I want to. And you feel immediately how your mindset and the well-being shifts, because if you say I want to, then basically you take responsibility. I have to is like obligation mindset, right? Now, that escape valve is quitting, and quitting is simply a mental place of disengaging, of checking out and pretending that you're escaped from the problem because you parked it somewhere in your mind. Sometimes people quit, like disengage, they don't even really quit. They just don't do anything. They just keep going and living their miserable lives. And quit is how we manage our sanity sometimes when we don't know how to create results we want, right? It is where we mentally hide when we don't know how to take responsibility and produce the effect that we want to produce. You're working in this place, you hate that, you say, oh, I have to work there, and sometimes you make mistakes, your boss is really screaming and you're putting shame on yourself, you're such a dummy, and then, you just don't know how to take responsibility, how to get rid of the situation. That's why you quit, right? And it's again, powerless state of mind, because responsibility is having power. You always have choice. You always can do something that can change your situation this moment. And now the last one is denial. Denial is also other side of the line because it's ignoring the existence of something. And it's basically a defense mechanism in which confrontation with a personal problem or with reality is avoided by denying existence of the problem or reality. It's basically refusing to accept the reality. That's why it's actually on down there on the other side of the line, because it's actually like there's no problem. Right? You solve the problem by refusing to accept that there is a problem. In many circumstances, this can actually have devastating effects. We all know that, right? People don't say anything, and at one point the problem is so huge that now we have a huge problem, right? Or even with your health, sometimes you just deny, and boom, you are down, completely down. Now you need to having an operation or something, right? So denial is really dangerous, because if you deny a problem, it doesn't go away, it just gets bigger. And everything I explained to you right now is figured out by this Christopher Avery, who is my mentor, and he says that the responsibility process only works when self-applied. Means that it's so much easier to see actually in others than it is to see in yourself. And the goal we have is not to be able to say that, oh, I'm always responsible and I never fall off responsibility. The goal is actually to practicing the responsibility process and recognize the real problem and pull ourselves up to the place where we can actually solve it from responsibility. So having a responsibility practice is like having a treasure map that actually works. You will find so much more gold than stumbling around in the dark, because you are not dwelling on the problems anymore. You are, if you start catching yourself from these stages, you become effective problem solver. Your life will grow. You become better person. You don't inject poison into yourself anymore. You become powerful. And the thing is that responsibility mastery is knowing how to move yourself through these stages up to responsibility. And it really just takes practice. It just needs your awareness. Whenever you feel down, bad, angry, then ask yourself, am I stuck right now in denial, in laying blame, justifying, or in shame, obligation, or quitting? Because responsibility, this is the mental state of freedom, power, and choice. It's where you learn, grow, and see things as they are so you can get newfound clarity, you can deal with the situation as it is. In responsibility, you can actually make solutions. On these other stages there, you are stuck with the problem. And in responsibility, you believe that you are bigger than the problem. You have the real power and ability to see and resolve the real problem, and the assumption is that you are resourceful, powerful, and free to choose. And that's an amazing feeling, because you're not dwelling on a problem. You see things from the positive perspective. You see, okay, this is what happened. That's what I learned. That's what I should do differently. And this is what I'm going to do now. It gives you freedom. And it feels amazing, guys. So learn these stages, print it out, start practicing it, and enjoy being responsible. And thank you for watching. If you like this video, then thumbs up. If you like this channel, subscribe. And if you like me to help you to set up responsibility process in your company, or you want to build an online business with remote employees, or you want to know more about Amazon, then check the links below this video and we can have a talk. Ciao.